Hi, everybody. Zane with Sailing Views, and today I have James Evenson. Some of you may know him from his YouTube channel, Sailing Zingaro. James is just a guy who's been doing it right for the last couple of years, and I've been following him since just about day one. So, how you doing, James?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for following me, man. That's very cool. It's good to meet you finally. We've talked on via Facebook Messenger quite a few times.
Yeah, we've been talking for a while, and I know I've been trying to get you stuff to fix your boat up, and then, everything's been a miss. But so for the people that don't know you, because I have a unique following where it's primarily racing sailors.
Oh, cool.
Now you're a big cruiser and have been doing kind of living the great lifestyle, cruising around on your catamaran. What kind of boat was that, and how did you find it?
That was a '84 Crowther Spindrift, plywood with epoxy. It had Eric's foam hulls, and it had dagger boards and kick-up rudders. So it was fast and fun. Problem, it was plywood, so I mean it wasn't really strong. And I found that boat on Cruisers Forum, and there's a few different places that I look for boats. Like I've had 5, and I've done a lot of racing too. I just prefer to go cruising and chill out and have fun instead of be so competitive. But I do love to sail, and that boat was awesome to sail.
Yeah.
I found it in Florida. The guy I bought it from, I bought it the day I saw it. And it was really the first boat that after like a year of looking, that I flew down and looked at. And I just moved into his backyard like the next day, and he let me keep it there in his backyard for 2 months while I built a hardtop for it and put solar on it. And that's pretty much all I did. Put a radio in it. Didn't have radio.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, and I remember like the first day you were actually trying to leave his backyard. You were hitting bottom, and you were in like 6 inches of water. So
yeah, I was actually grounded when I went out there. I was like on the ground, like uh-oh. I went to leave, I was like, oh, I didn't really even check the tides like an idiot. I didn't know what the hell I was doing,
Yeah. So all right, so you got into sailing. Now I know through watching your videos, you were in the Navy. What got you wanting to get into boats and the sailing and the liveaboard lifestyle?
It was actually through the Navy, but it wasn't directly from the U.S. Navy. I was on submarines for 5 years with a guy named Robert Mudd, and he was a sailor, and it was his dream to sail around the world. And when I got out of the Navy, he was still on the boat. He had re-enlisted for one term, and he got stationed in Hawaii, and he had a sailboat in Hawaii, and he died circumnavigating Oahu.
Oh wow!
Big Kona storm came up. That often happens there. Is they have these southerlies that come in and they roll through, and they're not even forecasted or anything. So, and they blow like 40, 50 knots. And he got big waves. And I think what happened was he broke his rudder. They never found the boat, but he got in his life raft. So I'm figuring he lost his rudder and was going to hit the rocks. So he got in his life raft and got succumbed by a wave. The Coast Guard said that they could see him firing off flares, and they could actually hear him from the shore, but they couldn't do anything about it because there's no way to get to him. So unfortunately, he died. And after he died, I was like, you know what? I'm going to see what Rob was all about and see, what this sailing thing is all about. Because I had never sailed. I mean, I had been out on a Hobie Cat with my grandpa, but I was not really a sailor. And that was like when I was 24, 25, something like that. Maybe a little over 26. And then I just went out and bought an Islander 28, and I ended up moving onto it about 6 months later. And I have never lived ashore again. Actually, I've been living on boats for 13 or 14 years now.
Yeah.
And I cut my teeth on that boat, and then I gradually got different boats, and I like my first cruising boat was just this POS Morgan 41.
See, I want to hear more about that boat because there's you're talking about the bleach bottle kind of version, right?
Yeah.
Those things are an
like fiberglass, full keel, but only a 4-foot draft, so it sailed like a turd. And it like when I bought it, I didn't know what I was doing, so I paid way too much for it. I think I paid like 49 grand for it, and all the roller furlers were like the first roller furlers ever invented by man. They didn't even have like they were hang. And I ripped the clue off the sail the first time I took it out, and it was just madness. But I really learned a lot. You know, I considered that I put like 12 grand into that boat, and I sold it for $1,000 less than I bought it for. But I had redone everything, like the plumbing I redid with Propex. The engine room looked beautiful. All the battery systems and electrical, and never really fixed the hydraulic steering. I'm not a huge fan of hydraulic steering, but you kind of have to have it with a center cockpit boat.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of work to that boat over the year that I had it, and just realized that no matter what I do, I'm still going to have to change the roller furlers, the sails, the rigging. That, you know, like, it was just so much stuff that it wasn't really worth it. Plus, it didn't really sail that good. You know, I wanted something that was a little bit more peppy. After having that Islander, which that boat was bad. If you ever have a chance to buy a sailboat and want a little one, Islander 28 is a great boat. I mean, that engine went out after about 6 months. I burned it up. And on my way back from Catalina, I was sleeping, and my brother's like, "Hey, James, is it supposed to be smoking inside your boat?" So I threw a rod in that engine, and another idiot move. I just didn't check the oil. And I sailed that boat in and out of the slip in Marina Del Rey for like a good 6 months. And that's when I really learned how to sail. And I after having the Morgan, it was just like, you know, going from a good sailing Perry boat to like this Morgan that was built for charter is just no. So I was looking for something that was racy. I kind of wanted a cat, and I was about a year that I was looking, and I bought a Catalina 27 in the interim just so I could live on it. Yeah. Because I finally got an offer for the Morgan, so I needed somewhere to live. That was a cool boat too, but, you know, production little boat. Yeah. Consequently, I met a girl that was she sailed a Catalina 30 from Seattle to Ecuador via Panama and Galapagos. I mean, dude, you talk about a messed up boat. Yeah. The companionway slats didn't even fit anymore. The boat was all twisted. I'm surprised she didn't rip the rig off the thing, but she did it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, that's definitely something. You know, I'm like you. You know, I want to be out there and I want to go and not have to worry about the boat falling apart. I look at Catalinas and I'm like, yeah, you know, they're a great dock boat. You know, some Morgans are a dock boat. You know, there's some boats are just, they're great at the dock, but
that Catalina sailed really well.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've been around boats and I have yet to figure out what I want.
Well, it's all trade, you know. I mean, what are you going to do with it, really? That's the question.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the boat? Are you going to go to Tahiti, get a catamaran? Are you going to go around the Horn, get a big steel boat? Or you know, you want performance and comfort and safety? You're going to pay for it.
Yep. I mean, I'm kind of like, I want to start off, run down to Florida, run to the islands, bounce around South America, you know, Gulf of Mexico type stuff, you know. And for me, I've got 3 kids, and I'm going to need a big boat. So, you know, that's the trade-off.
Man, we could talk about boats all day, but, like, you know, it's all a trade-off.
Yeah.
Whatever boat you get is going to have something that you don't like on it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Whatever. Like, for instance, on Zingaro, I hated the kick-up rudder system. I thought it was super cool, and the guy designed it well, but it was just always a pain. Always a pain.
Yeah. Now, I remember seeing a video where you had to rebuild a rudder on a beach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm doing a rudder right now, literally. That's why I had to shower up right before I got here, as I was covered in glass. Juniper wood and then fiberglass.
Cool.
So it's just, it'll do.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm almost done. I've got it all sanded. When I finish this video, I'll jump out and lay a few more layers of glass, and then it's just grind and fair. So it's almost there.
In epoxy?
Yeah. Yep. So
what system?
I'm using Seahawk. It's it's similar. It's just a little cheaper. Yeah. So, all right. So let's jump into where's one of your favorite places to sail to, with a favorite island or favorite spot?
I've got really 2 favorite spots. The first one is. Oh, wait a minute. Should I be telling you this? Should I be giving this away? South Cuba was absolutely hands down top 3-4 places I've ever seen in my life. And it was cool to have a boat. And I was by myself. So it was just kind of like that added. And I just bought my boat. And that's the first country I went to. So it was just like so exciting for me and so pristine. I'd never seen reef like that before because they're not allowed to have boats there. So the reef is not all damaged and crazy. I mean, the lobsters were out in the middle of the day. Like I go to check my anchor and one's just like, "Hey man, what are you doing here?" It was intense and excellent. Pristine water. And then Anakena Beach in Easter Island was hands down top 5 places I've ever seen. Also beautiful. And Easter Island itself is just an amazing location. It's worth the trouble to learn how to get the skills to be able to go there. And man, it was an awesome adventure. Same thing with Pitcairn. I was really lucky with weather last year, and I got to see all the Pitcairn Islands: Ducie, Henderson, Pitcairn, and Oweno. Dude, it was insane. Like nobody goes there, so it's pristine. They have the best water in the world. I hear. They found the deepest coral in the world in the Pitcairn group. Wow. It was like 140 feet. Wow. That's clear water, dude.
Yeah, that's good clear water.
To survive. It was amazing. But yeah, I mean, everywhere is different. Some people really like Tahiti. Some people really like the Keys. Some people really like. Well, I don't hear if anybody really. Oh, Sandblast Islands. Yeah. Some people say that was the favorite destination of their trip. I don't know. It's different for everyone. What do you like to do, kind of thing. I like to spearfish, and I like to be places where there's not a lot of people.
Yeah, I can see that being definitely a draw. All right, so now I know through watching your videos, you've had a couple places that you didn't really enjoy. So let's talk about Isla Mujeres, and let me preface that. With I used to race sailboats from Pensacola, Florida, to Isla, and it'd be it's like anywhere on 3 to 7 day race, and I used to do that race every other year, and I'd get down there and have a blast. Now I loved Isla, just for kind of the fun of it, but now I know you described it as way too touristy, way too busy, and I agree with you, it definitely is. But what else were some of your thoughts on Isla?
Well, let me preface it by saying that I have fond memories of Isla. I actually met some of my best friends there. Mm-hmm. There's a good cruising community, and it's so close to the States that it really doesn't feel like you're out of the country that much, except right. For the food. And of course, you're speaking Spanish with some people. It's a tourist destination for Americans and Mexicans alike, and it's expensive, and the holding sucks. There's grass there. I think that Mantis actually uses Isla Mujeres as their test facility because everybody drags there.
Yeah.
Every time there was a southerly or a northerly, I can't remember. It's been a while. That came through there, which come through a lot. We just call it the drag show. It was funny.
Yeah.
Boats bumping into each other and dragging all over the place. And let's see. I didn't really like the regulation there because you can't free dive. You have to. There's a rule there that you have to have a life jacket on when you're in the water, which is. Well, yeah. And I understand it for the tourists because there's a lot of tourist boats and stuff, but I mean that's just stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I've done the whole zip line, the scuba diving, the whole thing the whole package they sell. And I mean, it's nice, but it's not what you got to experience traveling around and doing everything on your own.
Yeah,
and I think that's the difference. Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of good friends, locals that were born and raised on the island, and I love the place. But like you say, it's not for everybody. So, other than Isla, let's move on. What other bad experiences did you have? Did you run into anything just completely crazy?
Well, I don't know, man. I don't really view them as bad. I just view them as okay, this is crazy, or this is weird, or this place wasn't as good. Maybe I really love Cartagena. Beautiful place. Horrible anchorage. They have a big bay that has 2 little inlets, and it's completely enclosed, and it's dirty, dude. Soup. You don't even want to go in the water dirty. And the growth there is insane. After a month there, if you don't clean your bottom, you can barely use your propeller, man.
Wow.
Let's see. But there's always pluses too. The city was amazing. Good nightlife, good people, cool. There's a beach maybe 70 miles south and a bunch of islands on the way, and Just one of the most beautiful islands ever is about 140 miles south of there, called Teen Pan, and it's got a little tiny lagoon. You can't even get there except with your dinghy, and pretty protected anchorage inside the island too. And there's a naturally, there's not a lot of water flow there because I think the tide wasn't that big or something. I'm sorry, man. It's been years I've been doing this, and they all kind of meld together.
Yeah.
For some reason, it didn't get a lot of flow in and out, and there was one of the most naturally occurring phosphorescent plankton in the world in this pool. So you could go, and even outside in the anchorage was amazing. I mean, I remember jumping in the water with my girlfriend, and because you could just see, it was like I could see your entire body just like rolling around. I was like, man, just go down and do a bunch of spins and stuff. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I couldn't catch it on video. I don't know how. I think the winds did, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. Now that's something I want to talk to you about. With your YouTube channel, I mean, how many followers do you have? It's got to be
Right
a lot.
now, it's like just over 70,000.
70,000. Yeah, that's a good bit. Now, with what kind of gear are you using? How are you, keeping, remembering to use the camera at all times? That's something I do crap all the time. And I'm like, God, I wish I had videoed that. Or, I'm always running into that problem.
Well, that's my business. So, I mean, you get used to it. You get used to always thinking about that. It's kind of, it could be said that it takes away some of the experience, but really, I think it also gives back a lot too. I get a lot of really nice emails from people like, hey man, I just bought a boat. You inspired me. I get that a lot, and it's freaking awesome. That's really why I started the channel, to tell you the truth. I mean, I had money when I started. I knew I'd run out. I'd like to supplement that, and I was hoping it would build up for the year while I could, spend my own money to cruise. But I mean, I'm pretty good with boats and stuff. I could make money doing anything. I really enjoy sharing with people, and I think that's a rewarding part too. But to answer your question, yeah, it sometimes, especially when something's going down, like when I wrecked the cat, I didn't film at all. I didn't film anything until the boat was tied together and we were safe, and then I started filming, because there's times where you can't go and grab a camera. You can't spare, like that boat was about ready to rip in half and sink. I'm not going to go and film that,
Yeah. Too bad you couldn't just hit the play button and then crazy.
People have like GoPros mounted around their boat, and they charge them every other day, and they get them ready, and when something goes down, they just go and record, and then that's it. That would be the smart way to do it, but like I said before, I'm not really that smart, so
I don't know, man. I've seen some of the stuff you do. You seem pretty bright to me. So you mentioned your boat breaking in half. Now, I know I've seen the video. Some of these people may not have, or probably have. Who knows? But I'm sure your heart was pumping like crazy, just coming up with ideas on how to fix it, how to lash it. Describe that. What were some of your first thoughts, your last thoughts?
Okay, so if you guys don't know, my cat was all of the stringers and main beams on the port hull failed at the same time, and it ripped the hull to deck joint too. So basically the deck was the only thing holding the pontoon on. It canted out about 30 degrees, and we were still taking like 25-foot waves, 30-foot waves, and on the beam now, because we couldn't go anywhere. And my damn parachute anchor was too small. But that's another story. So I've got these things hitting me and coming over to the boat, and the deck's cracking a little more every time. And I'm like, holy I'm gonna die. This thing, what's gonna happen for sure is either a wave's gonna come and it's gonna bounce against the bottom of the boat and then go up through the deck joint and fill the hull and then turtle, or the hull's just gonna rip off and the boat's gonna flip over. Either way, I was gonna flip, and I knew it. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh my God, babe, this is bad. What should we do?" And she's like, "Oh shoot, let's tie it together." I said, "Yes." It was her idea. I mean, I was just like, "Oh my God!" And luckily, I don't freeze in situations like that. I didn't know how long we had, but I could see the fiberglass delaminating from the interior of the hull, where the hull deck joint ends, and it was like cracking up through the. Oh man, it was bad, real bad. It actually cracked all the way down to the bottom, like unlaminated the whole hull, and it would have just been a matter of probably half an hour or something before the boat flipped over.
Yeah.
So I got in, and I stupidly, like, first thing I think of, it's nighttime, by the way, is to like make a bowline and loop it around or not make a bowline, but tie a bowline around the strut for the because that was the bottom of the boat, and that's where it was breaking the most. It was really super separated there. So I'm like, okay, well, that's on the bottom. It's super strong. It's made of bronze. It'll be able to withhold it. No way, dude. I probably had it tied up for about 10 minutes before a wave hit us, and it just parted the. Oh no, it just broke, and it took the strut, broke it off right at the hull, and then pulled the damn prop shaft almost 90 degrees. It was like 70 degrees.
Wow.
And it didn't rip through the boat. That Arex foam is amazing stuff.
Wow.
Any other boat, a Hunter or something like that, would have just pulled right through. That was a freaking inch stainless prop shaft. So it bent that 90 degrees, and then I got back in and I tied it around the hull extrusion, because I had the extrusion for the kick-up rudders that was added to the hull. And luckily that held, but the line parted after about 10, 15 minutes. So I had to get back in the water a third time, and I had a roll of Dyneema, that Spectra line, that a 3/8 Spectra that I used for the rigging, because I re-rigged the boat twice with that stuff. And I still had a couple hundred feet of it. So thank God I had that, because, I mean, that stuff saved my boat. It actually ate into that extrusion and went about halfway through it. So another couple hours of that beating that up, it would have just ripped the extrusion off. I'd have lost the rudder, and then I would have had to put it around the hull. It'd start eating into that.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was nightmare, dude.
Yeah, I saw the video where the line was chewing into the boat and everything, and I was thinking, that was good quick thinking of lashing it all together, but I was also like, yeah, that can't be good, because you're gonna, the force is just gonna cut the boat in half at some point.
Yeah.
So
that stuff's like stronger than steel, so it's like every time it moves, it's just digging into it. So that's why I didn't want to put it around the hull, because I didn't want to lose the watertight integrity of the hull. But at the same time, I mean, like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't in that situation. And another thing about the Dyneema stuff is it doesn't go into a winch. It's so slippery.
It slips, yeah.
You can't put it in a winch. So what I had to do is tie an overhand knot around it, and then go get the furler line, because that was the only piece of high-tech line I had, and use that in the winch. And that worked to tie the back. And then we tied one around the center with a block. It went all the way under the boat, up to a block, back around the winch, and to the other winch. My next boat's going to have at least 4 winches, and because I only had 2. I had the cabin top winches, but man, they were so small that
they don't do much.
And then I had the spinnaker halyard going down through the nets and around up to a cleat on the front of the boat, which that was just kind of for safety. And then, so I got this thing done, and now we're taking big waves over the side, because all boats really they go beam onto the wind when they're just left to their own devices. So we couldn't figure out how to. That boat never really hove to well. So I put out the parachute anchor, and that was just a nightmare, man. It was like it would pull the boat into the wind for like 10 minutes, and then we'd take a big wave, and it would just collapse the whole thing over itself. It was tangled all the hell. I pulled it in like 4 times. I've got 400 feet of line on that damn thing. And I was so exhausted and cold. At one point, I just gave up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get under the covers and get warm. We called the Coast Guard like right after the boat was tied together, so a couple hours into it.
Wow, I tell you, that's just that story is amazing. I've been through some crazy stuff, but the boat just breaking in half, that's definitely a new one.
Didn't expect that. Didn't see that. I'm lucky though, so lucky that it happened when it did, because I was about 60 miles off the coast of the Big Island, just about to get into the lee, and the next morning when the batteries charged up, I was able to start the engine, because it was so shitty that I only had a little piece of jib up, and we were trying to make, we definitely weren't running with it, and because I would have just missed Hawaii, and then it was like a week and a half of this, and so the autopilot discharged the batteries every night. They were like at 9 volts or something, and I couldn't get the engine started.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So I know you're a big fan of the Dyneema. You've used it for shrouds, for everything. Now, are they sponsoring you? I mean,
I wish they should.
yeah, they should. As much as you talked about it, and I mean, I've watched all your videos and everything, and
Yeah.
like you said, I already use the stuff. I've been using it since it first came out, back in the '90s. So, yeah, they should definitely sponsor you and give you a little kickback.
Yeah, I actually did contact Samson Rope about that, but they never got back to me. Whatever, they're making their money. I love the stuff, so I'd rather just teach people how to use it and what it's good for, and that stuff's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
for all
So,
to use on their rigs, right?
I think so. I don't know. I don't follow that many YouTube channels. I mean, I actually follow them and subscribe. Like.
Oh, I'm talking about your racer buddies.
Oh yeah, we use it on everything. I mean,
Yeah, and you guys are using it on the Force Day too, right?
not really. No,
Okay.
actually, we use I race boats like Melgis 24, and we have one design rules. We have to use wired shrouds.
Oh, okay.
But everything else is Spectra, and I mean, we do stupid things like quadruple tapers. 1/8 inch to 3/16 to 3/8, and slowly work it up, and then we taper
Whoa.
the back end where it's just 1/8 inch thick because you're not really using it, but every now and then. So I mean, we just do ridiculously crazy things. So we have time. So let's make a new halyard that's 4 different pieces of line to different weights.
Yeah, well, you can do it with that stuff. It's nice.
Yeah, it's easy to play with. All right, so what are your plans for the YouTube channel? You going to keep this going now that you're in the boat and hunt, or what are you going to do?
So I started a Kickstarter because I didn't have insurance on the boat. I tried to get insurance, and no one would give me insurance because it was a home-built boat made out of foam and plywood, and it was old. And I got quoted like 16 grand or something and the route I was taking, I was going to Easter Island and Pitcairn and stuff. So basically, I'm not going to pay 16 grand for insurance on a $60,000 boat.
Yeah.
And I didn't have insurance. We had like 10 grand left, which we ate through pretty fast after we got back here and started to, I had to pay for the boat to get hauled, which is another crazy story. I ended up having to rent a trailer for $1,000 and like get it out in the dock at 3 o'clock in the morning and drop the mast with a big kava tree. I like climbed up the tree, put a block in the tree, and like had 8 people helping me get the mast down. I thought for sure it was going to kill someone, but we did it. And then we took the boat down Front Street, which they took up the entire street. And when I say entire street, we had like inches on either side. Like 3 o'clock in the morning. I have video of it. It's awesome. Yeah. So I was really like at a conundrum of what to do, because I honestly still, I don't know if that was the right decision, just because there's a lot better things for people to spend their money on than me and my boat.
Yeah.
There's medical that need, medical stuff. And I really was like having a hard time dealing with it. And one of my followers said, look, man, I'm not, it's my money and I want to give it to you so you can keep going. You inspire me. You're my break at the end of the week. I love your videos. I would be devastated if you didn't continue doing it. And plus I want to just help you because you're following your path. And okay, whatever. Yeah, let's try it. And it was really like, how much do we ask for? What is the freaking plan? Like, what are we going to do? So yeah. I picked the boat that I liked. It was like 240 grand. And I was like, we need 40 grand for a down payment. We can just make payments. We'll figure it out. And ends up, I can't get that boat because now COVID happened right after the Kickstarter. And I ended up raising like 70 grand. And then I got another gift. So I have about 100 grand for a boat. And like legally, I have to buy a boat with it. Like that's the rules of Kickstarter. Like they, plus, morally, I'm gonna buy a boat with it. I want to keep going. So the plan now, I didn't realize, like, it's been about 6 months, right? So I didn't realize how traumatized I was from this wreck. And every time I go to look at a catamaran, I can't find anything for 100 grand that is even remotely safe enough for me to sleep at night. Yeah. So honestly, it looks like I'm probably going to go back to a monohull. I'm actually, everybody's like, oh my God, no. I'm relieved because I'm not going to have to worry about the damn thing breaking in half. Or, if anything bad happens, it's going to be my fault, not the build of the boat.
Right.
So my plan right now is to find a boat in the States or in a U.S. territory that is capable of going around the Horn. So maybe something out of aluminum with the swing keel, or that's hard to find for 100 grand too.
Well, see, I'm scared to death of aluminum or steel boats. you got to be able to weld that stuff in a pinch.
Oh, I can do that.
Well, I'm not a welder, but fiberglass, I can rebuild anything out of fiberglass. So for me, glass is king, baby. You know.
Well, you buy a boat, and necessity is the mother and bitch, and so you'd learn how to weld.
Yeah.
Uh, I had never aluminum welded in my life, but I'm pretty confident that I'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
It would look like crap for the first 100 hours, but whatever. You just don't do the hull.
Yeah.
You wait for that one, or take it to a pro to do that part. But all the deck fittings. The thing I do like about aluminum is everything's welded to the deck, so nothing's going to leak.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. That's it. But finding an aluminum boat with a swing keel is almost impossible for $100,000. A good one, 150, 200 grand. Yeah. So I'm looking at something that's like between 40 and 50 feet. I don't want anything above 50 feet, and something that can fit, like a few people. I'd like to have some like semi-permanent crew this time and make the channel more like kind of like what Delos did. If you guys are familiar with that, with those guys, they had like 6 people on their boat at all times and kind of made it more of a group adventure thing. I'd like to get back into that.
Well, sign me up when you do, man. I'm coming out to visit you.
I would love to have you down.
So,
and I'm going to go around the Horn. That's the coup de grace.
Yeah, I did that. Been there, done that. So
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I was 15, 16, something like that. Did on a big square ship, tall rig kind of thing.
Cool.
10 Russians, 10 Polish, 10 American kids, and about 6 adults sailed this big boat around the Horn. It was crazy, man. It was like 3 weeks of 60 to 80 knot winds, and the waves are like 60 to 80 feet tall. The big rollers. So it's not like they're just beating you to death. But the problem is with those big 60-foot swells, you've got 10-foot chop on it. So it's interesting.
What was that, like a 120-foot boat or something?
154.
Wow, that must have been so cool. Was it part of a program for students or something?
Yeah. It was kind of this Russian communist program where they were teaching us to learn to live under communism. It didn't take with me. But,
What?
yeah. It was part of kind of a spy school that we had going on back then. This is before.
How did you get involved in that?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, there was a lot of KGB on board. I can tell you that.
No way.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Did you learn any Russian?
I still remember how to ask your name, say your name, cut you out a little bit. That's about it.
That's right. All you heard, yeah.
Yeah, that was about it. It was an interesting program, but yeah, it was fun, and we got to Cape Horn, and then sailing just around the tip of South America, swimming with penguins. There's a place called Juan Fernandez Islands, which is Robinson Crusoe Islands. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Almost nothing there. Climbed a little mountain, or the rock, the mountain on the island. Just about fell off. After that, I was like, I'm kind of done with climbing. I'm not doing that again. So,
I'm gonna take my snowboard.
oh yeah.
I want to snowboard down a glacier.
Oh wow.
Drone. I'll have somebody on there I'll teach them to pilot the drone so they can follow me on the drone. That'd be so cool.
No, that would be nice. Yeah.
I might even go to Antarctica. My buddy Brandon has a sailing channel called Sea Change. And he's got a Red camera. He's a professional videographer for like commercials and stuff. He's got probably 150 grand worth of camera equipment. He's doing a documentary. He put out a couple of YouTube videos, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't want to have that be my venue. Wow. So he's doing a documentary, and he took a Perry boat. What is it called? I can't remember. I just went and saw one though. Down to Antarctica, and I think they got to like Ushuaia and got stuck and didn't want to go down there yet because it was a pretty brutal winter. Yeah. So I don't know if he ever made it. That was the last time I talked to him, but I might do that. I would just watch that documentary Deep Blue. Do you ever see that with oh, awesome. That guy was such a badass.
Yeah. And Ushuaia, the funny thing is if you ever fly in, it's got the airport, real small, crappy runway. You're dropping in the mountains. There's 2 wrecked planes, one on either side of the runway. So it's the scariest thing when you fly in and out of Ushuaia. So you're like, I hope we're not one of those because it obviously happens a lot.
Yeah, I get nervous when I see boats wrecked on the beach wherever I'm at. Like Tuamotus, there's like one on every damn Tuamotu.
Yeah.
I've seen them with their sails still up. That's just the weirdest thing to see ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be pretty freaky. All right. Well, hey, let me move on to something. What's the strangest thing you've seen floating in the water? Now I know you see a lot of trash, and because you've been pretty good about trying to clean it up on islands and things like that.
Yeah, I try to pick it
But
up if I see a big piece. We pulled out like a big, like 55-gallon plastic drum that was brand new. Must have fallen off a ship. Scariest thing I've ever, or craziest thing I've ever seen floating. Logs, a lot of big logs. Like if you hit them, especially with a foam boat, it just rip a hole in your boat.
yeah.
You have to be really careful when you go like within 100 miles of anywhere that has a river that comes out. Um, yeah, I saw a turtle that was like way offshore, and it was wrapped. It had his arm wrapped up in a fishing line, a long line, and it had a buoy on it. So the damn thing had growth on it. Like it
Oh,
was out there, like bobbing at the top. I think his arm was probably screwed, man. I felt bad for it, so I jumped in. I untangled it, but I don't know if he survived.
yeah.
Um, I've seen a bunch of dead animals, which actually are some of the best to spearfish underneath.
Huh.
You say be a dead whale or a dead sea lion or something, they're all
Mm-hmm.
bloated. And you stop your boat, take the sails down, jump in the water with your gun. There's always life around those.
Yeah.
Probably sharks too, so you better be careful.
Yeah.
The oceanic white-tip shark. Have you ever seen that?
I have not.
I had one of those. We got stuck in the doldrums on our way from Tahiti to Kiribati. We went to the Line Islands, which was awesome. All top 5 also.
Yeah.
Anyway, Malden Island was insane for fishing. But what was my point? Oh, we had a oceanic white-tip shark come and visit us when we were stuck in the doldrums. And I'm a sailor at heart. Like I don't ever motor. If I can help it, I don't motor. I'll sail on anchor, sail off anchor. If the wind dies, I just float. And we were out there for like 3 days. I mean, glass. And this oceanic white-tip shark came up and played with us all day. And we were feeding it, and because we had just caught some fish. Those things are like cartoons, man. They don't have like jagged fins or dorsal fin. It's like super round, and they're tipped white on the end. It looks like a little kid drew a shark.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got to look it up because I don't really know what you're talking about. But that sounds amazing.
And I guess they're super, super aggressive and dangerous too.
Really?
Yeah. Like they say, if you fall off your sailboat, that's what's going to get you and eat you.
Really? Well, thanks for feeding them and letting them not be afraid of us, right?
Oh, look, humans.
Yeah.
They're going to get fish.
Right, right.
Well, I just wanted him to hang out longer, man. I was like, wow, you are so cool looking.
See, barracuda scare me to death.
Nah, they're...
I've heard so many stories and people getting attacked by barracudas that they just freak me out. So,
Well, I usually have a spear gun with me, so I'm not scared of them. But I've seen some big barracuda.
yeah.
Big. Like 7 foot long.
Oh, God.
Huge barracuda.
Yeah. You don't want to shoot that. That thing will drag you for a day. So
Yeah, they're pretty... Well, actually, they're pretty good. I ate barracuda in the Cayman Islands. They don't have ciguatera there, and they all love them. And it was okay, like barbecued to shit.
yeah.
He even took, like, after we ate the thing, he took and barbecued the spine and then broke it open. We were eating the gelatinous
The
spine.
marrow, yeah.
The marrow.
Yeah. So in all these different places, there's a lot of different food, and people eat some fish. Like, here we don't eat bluefish, or and somewhere different place you go, it's a delicacy there. So
Yeah, but you don't eat blue fish, like anything blue.
the type of bluefish, the actual bluefish.
Yeah, the
So-
blue trevally or something. Is
yeah,
that what?
yeah, something like that.
I love those. Yeah, they have ciguatera in a lot of the states.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pain in the butt. Everywhere is different too. I mean, like in the Tuamotus, the crazy part there was like you could be on this side of the atoll and you couldn't eat the grouper, but on this side of the atoll you could eat the grouper. It was just the weirdest, and you had to talk to the locals to see, because like there was many days where I ate beans and rice for weeks because I didn't know if I could eat the fish, and I didn't want to get ciguatera like way out,
Yeah.
Oh, and that you don't ever really get over that. That's a crazy one. And I think that it's going on because the coral is breaking because of human interaction, and it's the planet's way of like defending itself.
Yeah.
In Gambier, like actually the Latin word for ciguatera includes Gambier in the name. And that place is the most infected I've ever been to. The triple tail, the grouper, everything was huge because nobody eats it. You can't. Huge fish.
Oh.
delicious fish.
Shit, that would
But
drive me crazy, just seeing a big fish like that and not being able to eat it. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, Lordy. All right, so, all right, we've talked about what you got next. Any clues, any hints you can give us here on,
I will give you the hint that I am going to buy a boat. It's going to be. I found the boat. How about that?
all right.
I can't tell you right now because I haven't even announced it to my followers yet.
Yeah.
But I've found the boat. It's going to be a monohull boat, and it's awesome. And I've got a super crazy good deal on it. And it's one of those things that just felt right to me. You know, like one of my fans called me and he said, "Look, man, I'm a delivery skipper. I've been friends with this lady for 30 years. Her and her husband cruised on this boat. He got sick and he died. She's been sitting on it for a couple years and she doesn't know what to do with it. You know, why don't I hook you guys up and see if you guys can work together?" And it took me a few months. Like, she didn't want to sell it for what I had. It's a nice boat. And finally she was like, "Listen, I saw your video on your wreck. I saw your story. I'd like the boat to go to you. If you would just mail me back some personal effects, you can take it and do your adventures with it." And it just felt right. So I think I'm going to buy it.
Very good. Very good. Well, that is awesome. Now, I want to know something. How do you always, like in the beginning of your channel, and I'm probably sure coming up soon, you're going to have a whole bunch of people sailing with you. How do you find a new crew? How do you find these people?
Find a crew is a good one. I have friends that do work away. Work away is more for like people that just want to go somewhere and experience the culture in that place and live in a place and do like work on a farm or something like that. You can also do that on a boat. You can get paying crew, which I've done before, like $25 a day or $30 a day or whatever, whatever you want. I probably won't do the paying route this time just because the dynamic is weird to me. Like when someone's paying for you, you kind of feel obligated to go out of your way to make them comfortable. And I don't like doing that. So I'd like more it to be like what I'd really like is to find some people that are adventurous. They have some skills that I want, like a good freediver or a good spearfisher or something, and willing to learn to edit. And we could just make films together, and then I could actually like share the money with them. We could make it like a group thing. That's what I would really like to find. So, if any of you guys watching this want to come, contact me. You can go to www.svzingaro, sailing vessel Zingaro.com. And I would really like to get some cool, like, just my kind of people.
Yeah. Yep. Now, living, sailing, La Vida Broca.
Yeah.
Now, I am totally about that lifestyle. That's basically how I live my life on land.
Yeah.
For me, I'm thinking, I just need to get a damn boat and go live it that way because I can make things work on a boat. On land, I'm struggling. So
yeah, that's kind of why I started that series. I have a series of how-to videos called Living La Vida Broca. And if you own a boat and you cruise on it, you're pretty much living La Vida Broca unless you've got some kind of big investment somewhere paying you 20%.
Right.
I kind of live paycheck to paycheck, and it's getting to the point where I can start saving some money, but it seems like every time I save 10 grand, I got to spend them on the boat. So I started this series just to like teach other people the skills, because everybody was asking me like, "Where'd you learn to do that?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know how to do any of this crap.
I'm learning.
I kind of learning it as I go." And I was on the submarine. I was a navigator and an ice seaman, which is the interior communications. So I was in charge of like the radar and the fathometer and all that, fixing all that. And when you're on a sub on 400 feet underwater, you can't Google it and you can't call anybody. So I got really good at like trying to figure things out from tech manuals, and that's kind of the way my mind works. And I don't know, man. I'd like to just share that. I think that's kind of a dying art. Like, people don't ever fix anything anymore; they just replace it. And I try to share those skills and like things I learned over the years. Like, okay, well, how do you buoy your anchor chain correctly? How do you not drag anchor? How do you set it? How do you tie a bridle line so you don't have to pay Mantis $400 for a bridle when you can just tie a rolling hitch with a piece of anchor line?
Exactly. Yep.
There's things like that. Things that would save money, save time, and skills that are on the job training that people don't learn until they go through that drag where they almost wreck their boat.
Yeah. So
that's kind of the whole premise of that.
Yeah, and that's awesome. All right, well, James, we're starting to get up to about a 40-minute video, so I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to let you go. But
okay.
Make
Wonderful
sure,
to meet you, Zane.
yeah, likewise. And make sure you tell everybody how to find you. Repeat your website again.
www.svzingaro.com. Zingaro is the Italian word for gypsy, so that's where that came from. And you can also, I have a Instagram, svzingaro, at svzingaro. I have Facebook. It's all svzingaro. Let's Google that.
Yep, there you go. And for everybody else that just are racers or people that I know or whatever, check out his site. He has some great videos. He's very entertaining, very good to watch. He's really cool. Him and his girlfriend and all his friends that he brings on the boat, they're just fun to play with or to watch and envision. I can see myself there. So
I'm out, bro.
yep. So check him out, and I definitely will, James, on that one. All right. So with that, everybody, this is Zane with Sailing Views. Like, subscribe, check it out. Over, out, and bye-bye.